There it is. That's the reaction from the Cats Corner in Athens, Ohio, after the hometown kid, Joe Burrow, wins the Heisman Trophy. This was the first year ever that two Buckeyes were finalists in the same year, but it's the former Buckeye, Joe Burrow, who takes home the award.
It's what we expected to do.
Nobody else expected it, but for the first time since 1989 and just the third time in franchise history, the Cincinnati Bengals are headed to the AFC Championship. After the game, Michigan quarterback Cade McNamara said, "Ohio State is human, and we proved that today." And they proved that in a big way here in the Big House.
How about the night for Lucas Elroyon? The club paid a record-breaking $7 million fee to transfer him to Columbus back in January, and man, he was worth every single penny. 2 goals for Elroyon and an assist as the Crew beat Seattle, the defending champ last year, 3-0 for Columbus's first MLS Cup since 2008 and second in franchise history.
Joe Burrow. It was so special. And it will be for a long time.
Well, I had tears in my eyes knowing the journey he's been through.
Southeast Ohio and
He mentioned Athens and southeastern Ohio. It's pretty exciting.
It gives all of Athens a sense of pride. There's going to be first, second grade, third grade kids thinking, I want to be Joe Burrow now in Athens County.
He had so many obstacles that he managed to handle very, very well.
Go Tigers!
Ohio State, you let him go.
He's a great kid. He deserved it. He worked hard, and we're all proud for him. We really are. We saw him in high school. The kid's a winner. This is not the end. This is the beginning.
During Joe Burrow's acceptance speech, he said he's just a kid from Ohio chasing a dream. Well, he's now the 12th person from Ohio to win the Heisman Trophy and the first since Troy Smith in 2006. Local for you in Athens, Ohio, Justin Holbrock, NBC4 Sports.
All right, let's go back to Joe Burrow real quick. We mentioned earlier how much his speech is impacting the Athens Food Bank, but it's also paying off big time for a few other folks in Athens. Back in June, Tom and Ron, along with 3 friends, placed a bet on Burrow to win the Heisman. That's when his odds were 150 to 1, and so their collective bet of $100 paid out $15,000 when Burrow won.
It wasn't a lock, but you know, in Vegas you throw $20 out in the middle of the strip, so why not bet $20 on Joe Burrow?
And I can tell you that drinks were on them that night in Athens, Ohio.
This is like a vacation for me. I get excited when I go do this.
It really doesn't get a whole lot better than this.
You know, to us it is our Sunday night football.
And just like Sunday night football, fans of the Golden Bears watch from home because of COVID restrictions.
Knowing that you can give that experience to people that can't be here, it feels really good.
But fans of UA aren't the only ones benefiting from the free live streams.
I didn't know how to use any of the equipment, but now I do it with no problems.
The best thing I'm getting out of this experience, well, I'd say, is experience.
They can win this basketball game.
I mean, this is what I want to do in life, and this only just provides me practice.
Here's that momentum shift we were talking about.
It was a good opportunity for me to get to know camera work and kind of what happens behind the scenes.
That work behind the scenes is what makes it all possible.
One thing that people also don't know is the difficulty of working the camera.
You gotta do mic tests.
Knowing which button to push at the right time.
You got to get the live stream going.
I think a lot of it is just figuring out how to work with a team together to making it all work.
And do you have the master on?
Yeah.
Okay.
The leader of that team is Amanda Fountain, who teaches a broadcasting class at UA and volunteers her time to oversee the program.
I absolutely love what I do. It is such a gift to be able to do what I do. And it brings me such joy to see the students coming together. You know, it's this very authentic learning environment, and they have to work as a team. I feel very fortunate.
Miss Fountain does basically anything you can imagine. She's a pretty amazing teacher and person all around.
She's fantastic at what she does. She does everything for us. We wouldn't be here without her.
And without all of them, fans of the Golden Bears would have missed the boys and girls last season inside Jim Hamilton Court.
We'll see you in the spring for whatever sport we do next. Thank you for tuning in.
Justin Holbrock is in tonight for Jared Smalley with the sports, and you Been talking a lot today about the Crew.
Or the artist formerly known as the Crew, I guess is what we should say now.
Yeah.
The club announced that they're no longer going to go by that name, the Crew. Instead, they're going to be called Columbus SC. They did say they're going to keep their nickname of the Crew, and it can be used interchangeably with Columbus SC, but that's not all. They're also changing their logo from the shield to what you see behind me. The team says it's the shape of the Ohio State flag with the block C, which stands for Crew. The logo is going to be placed on jerseys next season, while other changes are going to happen in the coming days. This all comes less than 6 months after the Crew won the 2020 MLS Cup, and just 2 months before the team moves into their new stadium on July 3rd. The club has been known as the Columbus Crew since their inception in 1996. I spoke with Crew co-owner Dr. Pete Edwards about pushback over the new logo and name.
In many ways, we've actually doubled down on the Crew. Even though it isn't at the top of the crest, the word Columbus is actually small, and the C in the crest is really for the Crew. And then as we released earlier today, you can see that there's more attention to the Crew than there ever has been. Some people will call us Columbus SC, and that's okay if they choose that. But for me and in my heart, we will always be the Crew.
Call him whatever you'd like. All right. Yesterday, CBJ and head coach John Tortorella agreed to part ways after he spent 6 years in Columbus. And now the search begins for CBJ's next coach. Whoever that is going to be is going to have some big shoes to fill. Tortorella departs as the winningest coach in team history and led Columbus to 4 straight playoff trips prior to this year. That doubled the number of postseason appearances Columbus had in their first 15 years before he arrived. When he came to Columbus, he brought more than a dozen years of head coaching experience. When asked about the coaching search today, general manager Jarmo Kekalainen said they are not in a rush to fill the spot and had this to say about bringing in someone with experience.
Well, experience is valuable, but there's lots of different ways to gain experience. It doesn't always need to be from being a head coach, I think, in the NHL.
Now, maybe a lack of head coaching experience points to CBJ assistant coaches Brad Larson or Brad Shaw, so we'll see if they choose one of those two guys. A final check of the forecast is coming up.